guys, welcome to my talk show, Raising Greatness, where I interview guests to find out what led them down their path to success. I'm your host, Buamah. Today's guest is an award-winning celebrity chef, host of New Soul Kitchen on Clio TV, co-host of The Best Thing I Ever Ate on the Cooking Network. He's worked with awesome people such as Tyler Perry, Lady Antebellum, and NBA All-Star Brandon Ingram, just to name a few. My guest today is Chef Jernard.
Hello. I'm glad to be your guest and honored.
Thank you. And did you know we have two things in common?
What are those two things?
We've both been on the Steve Harvey show, and we're both best-selling authors. My book, Kale and Cow, The Walking Dictionary, and your book is a cooking book.
Yes. Yep. Actually, several books, but check out this right here. See? My kids are actually reading your book, and it's an amazing book.
Thank you. So nice.
So, it really is great just to be interviewed by you. It's truly inspiring to see our young men and women that are really paving the path and really being the future for us. And it's so important that you start now. And that's what I think is one of the most important things. And I commend you, on starting this journey and having parents that actually believe in pushing you forward. That's one of the most important things is having that amazing support group around you. And because that's some of the same things that I do with my children as well, is try to push them forward to be great in what it is that they love to do. And I can tell because I'm seeing you all over the place, is you're truly passionate about what you do. And this is where it starts, in nurturing a seed now. Because you'll wake up one day and you'll be amazed at all the accolades and all the great achievements that you would have actually ushered in just by being who you are and doing what you love.
Thank you. Thank you so much. Well, my first question is, what made you want to become a chef?
The biggest thing that made me want to become a chef was, cooking with my father. My father was a chef. And as a child, I spent time in the kitchen with my father. I started cooking at the age of 10 years old. Just spending time and just enjoying that father-son time with my father in the kitchen. I never knew that I would one day become a chef. I just knew that I loved cooking. And that was always one of those most exciting things as people is seeing how my friends and family would come over and they would eat my food at such a young age and thought that it was good. And that truly inspired me. It actually led to me opening my first restaurant when I was 16 years old out of my mother's kitchen.
Wow. So, did you go to culinary school, or did cooking really just come natural?
I always like to give a credit to both of them. Yes, I did go to culinary school. I went to culinary school twice. I originally went to the Memphis Culinary Academy, and then later on I went to the Art Institute of Atlanta. But and I majored in French and Cajun cuisine. But my first true passion, I think anyone's true passion when it comes to cooking, it always starts at home. This is a career path that you truly have to love to do it, because it is long hours, especially when you're in a restaurant. You're looking at 12 to 15 hours a day of being on your feet and in that grueling kitchen where everything is fast paced and you got all the stoves and ovens going on. It's hot in there. And so you have to really just love it. But that's one of the things why it's called culinary arts, because what we do, it really is an art. And we just paint a picture with our plate.
That's very interesting. So who inspired you? Was it your father or?
Yeah. I would definitely have to say, before I ever got turned on to any of the cooking channels or anything like that, it was my father, the first person that I can reflect back on, seeing cook meals and just really enjoying that time and just seeing how the community what we lived in how they really loved and adored him because of his food, and me just seeing him get those kind of rave reviews is really what inspired me to want to just follow in his footsteps to create that same experience.
So your father was a chef?
Yes, my father was a chef. My father actually owned several restaurants in Chicago, Illinois before. That's where I'm originally from. Before later on, my father and mother, we moved to Mississippi. And from there is when I really just had the opportunity just to really learn all things food, from having the gardens and growing and harvesting our own crops and things like that. It's where I really garnered and learned that true passion, what it was like to create great meals that the family and everyone would enjoy.
Do you make meatless food or do you use meat in your food?
Actually, a combination of both. I am trained in creating vegan and vegetarian meals. As a matter of fact, in all of my cookbooks that I create, I always make sure I put a vegan and vegetarian section in those books, because I truly think that that's a that's an amazing form of lifestyle of eating, because that really was the first way before meat or protein was originally introduced to us. Now I specialize also in cooking pretty much any cuisine that you could think of, because I was one of those chefs where I really wanted to learn how to step into so many different fields. I didn't want to be a one-track chef that could only cook one way or one style. I wanted to create dishes that, no matter what your dietary restrictions and what it was, what style of eating you had, I could create something that was great, amazing, and nutritionist for you at the same time. Because, you know, no dinner table looks the same. I don't care what household you is. You're always gonna have people that, I like this, I don't like this, I only want to eat this. So being a chef and being in this culinary capacity, I have to be able to meet that need across the board.
Basically, you just love to create new dishes that have never been created before?
Actually, that is so true. Um, and I always reflect back on some of my cookbooks. There are a lot of recipes that are out, the standard recipes that people always see. Hey, you got your pizzas, you got your fried chickens, you got your fish, you got this, you got that. You know, I always want to be one of those chefs that are on the forefront. Recipes are great blueprints to follow, but who's to say that we can't create our own trend, our own style? So what I like doing is I like tasting different ingredients, different herbs and spices, and mixing them and matching them to meet my own unique specifications of what I love as a dish, and then introducing that to the world. That way, from that point, I start to coin and create my own unique style, my own unique trend. So one day when people are using my recipes and trying, it'll reflect back onto that Chef Jernard Wells was the creator of this particular dish.
Yeah. So, what is your best creation of all times?
Yeah, I think. Well, it's I have quite a few, but one of my best creations of all times, I think, is my five spice gumbo, and it's a five-pot spice gumbo. The traditional gumbo is typically made with what's called the sassafras root. Sassafras root is, if you shop in the grocery stores, you'll see on the bottles in the seasoning section it says gumbo filet. Or some people may pronounce it gumbo file because it's spelled File, but it's a Spanish terminology. So it's actually gumbo filet, but it comes from the sassafras root, which is an Indian style root that's ground up into this powder. That is one of the unique and key components to creating gumbo. So what I did, because I launched a Asian restaurant with some Asian partners in downtown Atlanta by the name of East Wave Asian Fusion, I wanted to create a unique concept of gumbo, which is a Creole, Cajun, Louisiana style traditional dish. But how could I create that and bridge it into the Asian market? And one of the key Asian spices is five spice. So when I created that gumbo and used the five spice in place of the filet powder, it's amazing. As a matter of fact, I've won awards with it. That's how great this dish is.
Wow, it sounds really, really good.
It is, because you have your shrimp, your crab in it, your smoked chicken, your andouille sausage, all of those key components that you would get in a good gumbo. But then you have that nice 5 spice that's getting all those spices that hit on all of those notes when you taste it.
That really sounds good. Like, really good. That's
Thank you.
So my next question is, you have your own line of seasoning, right?
I do. I actually, the name of the company is Haute Cuisine, and the website is HAUTECUISINE.store. Haute Cuisine is a French name, a French terminology for high-end, high cuisine, things of that nature, because the seasoning and spices that I create, they're actually low in sugar, low in sodium, but I've managed to perfect it where you still get those same great tastes as you would get with any of those other leading brands that you love, but it's my own unique style, from Creole hot sauces to actually barbecue sauces, all those things that people really love. Because I wanted to create something that would meet the masses of all. And I launched my manufacturing company. It's about 10 years ago, and it has really taken off.
Wow. So, can people buy your sauces and stuff from like Walmart or Publix?
Whole Foods. Whole Foods, we distribute to Whole Foods, so they can purchase them from Whole Foods, or they can go direct and purchase them online as well, because we want to make it available to the masses no matter where you're located at.
Well, my next question is, why do they call you the Chef of Love?
The Chef of Love actually was a name that was coined to me as a child. I started cooking at 10, opened my first restaurant up at 16 years old, and I saw how the community really loved the way my father cooked food, and they started loving the way I cook food. And I truly believe that food and love goes hand in hand, and it's the ultimate unifier. When you think about anything that's amazing that takes place in life, it's always around food. It's always around the dinner table. And that's what I want to represent. When you're eating dinner with your friends, with your family, that's about sharing that love. And that's what I want to be, the Chef of Love, because I serve up love on a plate. Because in any other, when you look at all things in the world, hey, that's the biggest way that people say that, hey, I love you. Your great grandmothers, your mothers, when you're going to visit them, what do? We looking for, hey, dinner, the cookouts, and then let's get around the table and break bread together. And that's the whole gist of what the Chef of Love is all about.
Love basically has to do a lot with food, kind of, like for when you're cooking it.
It does. It really does.
I never knew that. So really quick, do you think you can create the best dish I ever had? And I've had some really, really good dishes.
You know what? I'm possible that I would create an amazing dish that you would most certainly love, and you would feel that, hey, it is one of the best dishes, because we, as I always say, our palates, I co-host a show by the name of Best Things I Ever Ate. And people always ask me, what is the best dish that you've ever had? And I always explain to them that it's ever changing, because I'll eat something today and it's amazing. And then a week from now, I eat something somewhere else and it's amazing too. So it's like I have these catalogs of all these amazing dishes. And I'm almost certain that I would create something once I find out what your taste buds is, what are things that you like to eat. I'm almost certain that I can create something that you'll love and you'll think it's the best dish that you've ever had as well.
So, but do you have any ideas right now?
Well, it depends on what it is you like. Typically when you go in a restaurant, you look at the menu and you determine whether or not if it's seafood you like, if it's chicken, if it's steak, all those things play a key factor in what it would consist of, with me mixing the ingredients together to create this amazing dish for you.
Wow, that's really interesting.
So what is it that you do like? What do you like eating what your mother fixes for you at home?
I mean, let's see. So she sometimes fixes me sliders. I love her sliders. And then some of her pasta. But I think that you could probably make something that I've never had, but like probably something like crab legs, lobsters.
Absolutely, yeah. I'm almost certain of that. But look, let's go back. Let's go back to these sliders. What do you normally like on your sliders?
Well, all right. So, first, I like cheese. Then I put lettuce, tomatoes, and then the final topping is the
Ketchup. Okay. Now, are there any particular cheeses that you like? I know you probably like American, but have you ventured out and tried any of the other cheeses, or your mother give you any other cheeses like Swiss, provolone, Gouda, mozzarella?
I mean, I like certain cheeses on different things. So, like burgers, I like American white. American.
Yep, white American. Yes.
On my lasagna, I like cheddar cheese on it, and on a lot of things, I like different cheese.
Okay. Now, and it's a funny thing that you mentioned lasagna. On my show, New Soul Kitchen, I did a unique spin on a lasagna dish. I did an actual barbecue lasagna. Cause see, you know, I know, right? So if you like barbecue cuisine, you would definitely love this right here. And what I did is, you know, typical lasagnas, you have a tomato sauce that makes up the lasagna. Hence, when you think about it, tomato sauce is also the base for barbecue sauce. So what we do is, we turn that unique tomato sauce. It still has all the same herbs of the basil, the parsley, all the things that makes up a good pasta sauce to make lasagna. Except what we do is we infuse the ingredients of barbecue sauce into it to give it a nice, good smoky flavor. Then we blend that in with the ground beef, and then we add in the mozzarella, shredded provolone, cheddar cheese, what you love, all of this into it, and bacon, and it's so amazing. Then you got to eat it with some garlic toast on the side.
My stomach is trying to imagine eating that right now.
Yeah.
So to end this out, I have one more thing to ask you.
Mm-hmm.
Can you leave me with a word? Well, your favorite word?
Yes, I think my favorite word is always endurance. You know, endurance is the key. Endurance is one of those words that you want to take and hold on. Because remember, the race is not always given to the swift, but it's to the one that endures. So if you keep going on the pathway that you're going, regardless of how things may seem to get difficult at times and life may bring on these challenges, but if you just always keep the word endurance in your mind and locked in your heart, and you keep persevering through no matter what, trust me, you will always come out on the winning end. Because it's not always about who goes across the finish line first, but more so important that you go across the finish line. So don't worry about anybody else that's running along in this race beside you, doing close to what you may be doing or doing similar to what you may be doing. Don't even worry about that. You only focus on doing what you do, what you love to do, and you hold on to that endurance, and you never stop. You never stop so that you will get to the finish line for yourself. So endurance is the key.
Great. That's great. Thank you for that word, and thank you for letting me interview you, and I hope we can have you on the show again. And
absolutely. Thank you as well, Nicholas.
It was no problem, really.
I had a great time with you.
Me too. And everybody who watched this, I hope you guys learned a new word, endurance. Well, okay. Bye, everybody.
You can catch Chef Jernard on the Cooking Channel or on Clio TV. Thank you all for watching this episode of Raising Greatness. And thank you to our sponsor, Mitzi, the official streetwear brand for the African diaspora. Find them on the web at mitzyshop.com. Make sure to like, share, and subscribe to our YouTube channel. See you next time.